Hey there. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I'll say that again. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast. Oh, yep, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now it's time for the Big Bad Broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Welcome to Wacky Friday, and I never noticed that after watching that thing for 10 years. I've never seen a Tyrannosaurus Rex package before.
Oh,
what the heck was that all about?
John, what were you doing checking out Tyrannosaurus Rex's package?
I mean, it was just right in my face. I don't need to see that. Anyway.
I didn't notice it. It seems like I should have noticed that one. Wait a second.
He's got little small hands.
Hey, is that a raptor in your pants, or you're just happy to see me?
So, anyway, and that was so loud, I almost blew my ears out, but that's another point. Anyway, good afternoon and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. And we're here every Friday with a group of crazies and incredible guests. And we have the very charming Jan Karam with us.
I'm so charming. I'm so charming. It's alarming how charming I am.
And we have the king, the dean of the clown college, Mike Grief.
Yeah. I feel charming too. I feel like I'm doing an East Side Story. I feel charming. I think we should say that in prison. Come here, Barney. I'm feeling charming.
That beard is getting any longer, man. You're going to go from like podcast guy to homeless guy soon.
What's that? You talking about this?
I
told you I'm going for the full duck, the Duck Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
And what a thing to strive for. And we have the effervescent, the man about town, the Yoda, the guy who does all the IT stuff. We have Craig Mitchell.
Yes, I'm in Hawaii. Hawaii, guys.
Wow.
You look gorgeous.
You snorkeling?
I took my couch with me, too, apparently. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Snorkeling.
I like the shirt.
Something totally different in my world, dude. Sorry.
There you go. Hawaiian shirts. You going surfing today?
I don't think I could probably keep my balance. No, I would go falling off the board.
He can't even keep his bank balance. You're going to expect him to get on a surfboard.
I mean, anybody can surf.
Anyway, no.
Anybody could
come to Cocoa Beach, and I will teach anyone how to stand on a surfboard in one afternoon. That's my
guarantee.
I
want to do what I want to do.
Come to Cocoa Beach one afternoon.
Well, you should do it.
I have an assortment of 6 surfboards. I have the softboard for the people that are learning. I used to teach all surfing. So, anyway,
I don't have any surfing. I got a waterboard. I don't have any surfboards.
Yeah, if I fell off the board, if I fall into the water, I cause a tsunami.
No.
Oh, that's mean.
You do your own waterboard.
Well, tell me where you're going to fall in. It'd probably be a good swell. All right. Enough about surfing, and let's get back on track, which is something we never do.
Yes.
So,
John, I have a question. Sorry.
Yes,
is there a track? Oh, yes. Okay, go ahead.
It's an 8-track, though. We're a little out of step. Hold on, let me get my customized van with the 8-track.
All right. So as we all know, I have to have a hip replacement, and it started back in December, and now the surgery is pushed to May 2nd because of the idiots that refuse to get vaccinated because of COVID. So on top of all of that, I got a call today saying that my blood sugar is a little elevated. Unless I can get that down, they can't do the surgery. And it's elevated because I can't do anything. I can barely walk.
It's
elevated.
That, and you got to eat right, man. You got to stop eating all of that crap.
I don't eat that crap now, but boy, we must have ate a lot of that crappy food when we were kids.
We were raised on.
If you are what you eat, man, I'm a Twinkie.
Wait, Craig.
That's the last word I would ever call you.
Is it Craig the Twinkie?
Is it Craig the Twinkie? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
No, he's a pound cake.
No, he's a bun cake. Hey.
The bun.
All right, so let's look at let's look at those snacks that we used to have after school.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, they were devil dogs. They were the cheapest. They were like nothing.
No devil dogs.
They were so dry that if you didn't have a glass of milk, you'd either have to have a glass of milk or a tracheotomy to get one down.
A milk tracheotomy.
Or what was it? You told me that, and then I had a funny thing to say.
Oh no, that'll come up. That's about the deep fried Twinkies.
Oh yeah.
But they remember there was snowballs.
Oh,
yes,
there was a white one and a pink one that came in the pack.
Those were fun to
on
eat.
them.
Yeah, you peel the stuff off the top and eat.
And eat smish all the
coconut
into your
and
then you'd eat the cake.
Hey, and then ding dongs, yodels.
Yeah, what you told me yesterday, that whole company went out of business, right?
Yeah, well, Drake's Cakes went out of business, but God, I'll tell you what. Here's you want to try some. You know how Thanksgiving you got what do you call it, turducken? Well, I have one. It's a Twinkie, a twink pound samosu, whatever the hell you want to call it. You take a Twinkie and you stuff it in a pound. You take a Twinkie, you stuff it in a pound cake, then you stuff it in a tiramisu. Then you get one of those fryers that they use for the Thanksgiving turkey. And you want to do this actually probably outside the emergency room of the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you're probably gonna have a heart attack while you're doing it. And you deep fry the whole thing. You're a dead man.
Are you saying? Did you just have that yesterday, or when's the last time you had one of those?
No, actually, though, I had some cannolis yesterday. A buddy of mine sent me
right.
cannolis from New York. Cannolis.
Oh, that's right. Somebody sent you those.
I love cannolis. Well, that's a big thing down south. They deep fry everything. They deep fry Twinkies. In fact, I was at a place once they were taking sticks of butter, dipping them in pancake batter, and then deep frying that and putting it on a stick.
Oh, you're making.
Is that on the keto diet? Then that's a keto dessert.
Well, no,
right?
the batter takes you off keto. The batter,
that's true.
If you eat that, John, forget about your hip. You're going to need a new heart.
I know.
That was like a Homer Simpson episode where he's home on a Sunday and he took a quarter stick of butter, he just wrapped a waffle around it and started eating it. Yeah, that's closer to what I used to do.
That sounds delicious.
It's hard to get off that stuff.
You dip it in some syrup, you're all set.
Oh man! So what were your favorite ones? I mean, I'm trying to think. What was my favorite cake when we were kids? I don't even know if half of them are around anymore.
Susie Q's.
Susie Q's were mine also.
Oh, Susie Q, baby.
Yeah.
I remember we went up to the mountains and for like a couple weeks, all the kids, and my mom bought these corn suckers, and it was like shaped like a corn. It was all sugar or corn syrup or whatever. And your tongue would get blue or green or whatever. Yeah.
Wait,
and then my brother and his friend, corn sucker.
Suckers?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's like, thanks for giving us all that sugar. And then my brother and his friends would beat up on me. And it's because all the sugar, they were just amped
I remember the Italian ices used to turn your mouth. Remember the
blue ones?
The blue, that used to turn my mouth blue. I don't remember any corn.
Well, it's just like a lollipop, any kind of it was just pure sugar. Like, here's 5 pounds of sugar.
And the Italian ices, if you got them, you get them little cup, you would turn it over and eat all that sweet stuff first.
Yeah.
And now they don't make them that way anymore.
What?
They have a new formula now. That's gone.
What?
The Italian ice where you could flip it over and you can eat the bottom of it. Now it's blended perfectly, so you don't have that anymore.
Oh my God, I hate the world today.
I know.
It's just
you can't
terrible.
even get a freaking Italian ice. I mean,
no more juice.
How about Funny Bones? Remember Funny Bones, man?
No.
I do remember them. I don't remember what they are.
It looks like.
Wait, for Craig. Oh yeah, Funny Bones. I remember those. Yeah, Craig.
It's not a gay thing. It looked like a Twinkie, only it was covered in chocolate. It's not a Funny Bone. That's a pretty funny bone.
Charlie,
man,
I took a funny bone last night.
Did it have peanut butter in it?
Yes. It was stuffed
I
with peanut butter, and it was covered in chocolate. It was a funny bone. It was awesome.
Do they still make the chunky bar?
Hilarious.
You remember chunky?
Remember the moon pies or the scooter pies?
Yeah, moon pies. I used to love those.
They still make those, I think.
Oh, and they got the marshmallow
but
ones.
But they used to be like this, and now they're like the size of an Oreo.
Yeah.
Is it because we got bigger or what?
The what?
Is it because they got bigger that they feel smaller, or what do you think?
They're just much smaller.
That's from the great marshmallow shortage of '82.
Oh yeah.
It's with the chip shortage and the marshmallow shortage.
You care about shortages. I told you I went into a bagel store in Florida, and the guy's from New York, and he's putting in the case that for a year and a half there was a Knish crisis.
Oh,
there was one. He goes, and he's funny. The guy goes, "Did you heard about the big Knish crisis?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Oh yeah, it's really bad."
It's all over CNN.
So apparently, there's only one company in all of the United States that makes Knishes in Brooklyn.
And does everyone know what a Knish is? For the viewers and listeners out there, what's a Knish?
A Knish is it's a potato filled out. What's the outside? It's delicious. Forget it. You're gonna.
It's got a crust.
Knish and a latke.
There is two kinds of Knishes, right? There's the square ones.
Potato. Well, no, but there's potato Knish, and then there's the what's that other buckwheat Knish? What do they call it, Craig? The one that's filled with the
Google.
Buckwheat Knish.
It's got a different name. It's
okay. That kind of buckwheat.
What the hell is a buckwheat Knish?
Buckwheat is a real thing.
How come in every other word in the English language the K is silent, but not in Knish? Shouldn't it just be a niche? Hey, can I have a niche?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
The buckwheat Knish has a little afro.
You don't want to try the spanky Knish.
that I've tried.
And then remember all the weird candies when you were a kid, the wax stuff, like the wax lips.
Yeah, wax lips. And you'd actually chew it and eat all that dye.
Or the most genius candy of all, dots on a piece of paper. I used to just eat the paper and the dots all together. It's like what am I going to stand there and pull 100 dots off paper? I'm just eating the whole thing.
Remember the candy necklace?
Yeah.
Necklace, you would jump into the pool and all of the candy would be gone when you came out. You're like, oh.
But you'd have a red neck.
Yeah. You sweat too much. It's like,
and of course, candy. Remember the cigarettes?
Yeah, the cigarettes.
Because we want kids to start smoking young,
Yeah.
And then they had and then you didn't want the candy cigarettes. Remember, they had fake cigarettes that when you blew in them, the smoke came out of them.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they had candy cigars too, gum cigar in case you get married as a kid.
Yeah, but no one really bought the fact that no one ever really bought the fact you were smoking an orange or a yellow cigar.
Yeah. Well, no, it was for in case if you're a kid and you're having a kid. So you hand out little candy cigars, Here, I'm having a kid. Have a cigar.
They don't even have bubble pipes anymore. You can't do the bubble pipe. Remember the bubble pipes?
Oh, the corn cob. Oh.
Again, there should be pipes you should blow up, but now it's too much smoking. You can't do it. Kids will get, you can't do it.
Well, they know. Oh, but wait. But then they go ahead and do the vape thing. So it's the same thing, but except it's actual real nicotine. So.
I caught a guy vaping in my car yesterday. I almost
vaping.
It's amazing any of us are alive. I mean, we come from the generation that played with lawn darts. I mean, come on. They gave us sharp, spiky things to throw in the air.
Over where your friend is standing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, more kids died of lawn darts than anything.
Yeah, but now it's prescription meds. So you steal the prescription meds, or you would steal the moon pie. Let's see. What?
I'm going for the meds.
I killed. It's really not funny, but I killed my friend George Malinchek with a lawn dart. But I must say, it was a hell of a shot, though. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Really
nice.
Really
nice. Well, how about you talk about the sugar stuff? Did you ever see those shows where they have the mothers that have their kids in beauty contests? And they keep the kids awake and get them crazy. They feed them pixie sticks and Mountain Dew.
I'll do it.
Wow.
And they go, yeah, you look a little, you're not really on edge anymore here.
How is that not child abuse? How is that not child abuse? I mean, first of all, they're turning their kids into little sexual whatever. I mean, and then you're going to complain about predators. It's like, no, you made your kid into. It's like It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, we've gotten way
It's
off
like
track.
you're 3. It's time for you to start wearing a thong. Okay.
Okay, so we've gone from Susie Q's to little kids wearing thongs.
Yeah.
We've stayed on track.
That's a natural progression.
Right?
That's a natural progression. Sure.
The only reason a kid should wear a thong is they're easy to throw. I mean, you just throw. That's about.
You go.
Hang them up.
Hang them. You can hang them. Just shut up, kid. I got a headache. I know to take a nap. I'm gonna hang you on a hook.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. And that really brought it all home, Mike.
I know.
I forgot to do equal squares. I'm sorry. That's my.
You guys, we have a very funny comedian.
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce him, Jen? You're halfway
really?
there. Yeah.
Well, no, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, we have every week.
Every
week we try to bring you a really great guest, and we got one today. It's a friend of ours, a very, very, very funny stand-up comic, and I know him from New York. Jen knows him from California. We all know him from different places. But without any ado, let's bring to the stage here at the BBBradio.com Big Bad Broadcast. I don't even know the name of the show anymore. A good friend, John Mendoza.
Yes.
Hey,
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good, yourselves? By the
Good.
way, Twinkies went out of business because they had such a large union. They couldn't afford to pay the not Social Security, but the union dues, the retirement fund. And the retirement fund is what killed Twinkies.
Wow.
Oh,
Really? That just
Wow.
sounds like a Sting song.
I always wanted to get a job in that factory. I wanted to be the guy who injected the cream into the Twinkie.
That's
one
wrong.
for the Twinkie, one for me. One for the Twinkie, one for me.
Injecting the cream, that just didn't
All
sound
right.
Oh,
Well,
shut up,
before
Craig.
we get more off track, I had a job at Dunkin' Donuts once, and we hated the boss. And the night that I quit, he made it just a big thing. When you fill in the jelly donuts, don't ever put the jelly donut power past 2.5. So when I was leaving, I picked it up to 10. He took 2 jelly donuts and shot jelly up to his armpits. And I went, thank you, good night, and left.
Wow. That's great.
So
Love
let me
those
ask.
moments.
So John, I mentioned yesterday. You recognize what's behind me?
You Ravenswood, yes.
Ravenswood, and so people know, just so they know what it is. Ravenswood is a housing projects in Queens, and that's where you're from, right?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was at the Emmys, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sat down next to me, and I said, we used to play ball against each other in Queensbridge and Ravenswood in the parks over there. And he said, no, you didn't. I said, yeah. I said, I grew up there. He said, no, you didn't. I said, why not? He said, no one came out of there alive.
Well, we have that in common. I grew up in Ravenswood also.
Yeah, From what you said, we went to the same schools.
Yeah, I went with St. Rita's, and then where'd you go after St. Rita's? Long Island City High School?
I went to Bryant.
Yeah, as I said, I went to Bryant, and then I got thrown out for a little thing they like to call grand larceny. I called it after school recreational, whatever. But
grand larceny was part of what we had to do as a child.
That's it. Well, if you're from the project,
how old are you?
I'm 59. Just turned 59.
Baby.
Okay, no, because you probably grew up with one of my sisters.
It's possible. I mean, are they about that age? I probably went to school with them.
Yeah. I was the only Mendoza. Everyone else in my family was called Hildebrand.
Well, do me a favor then. Actually, when you talk to your sisters, just say Mike Grief is sorry.
Okay.
What is your real last name, Mike Grief?
I can't reveal that.
What? You want to reveal that?
I can't reveal my real last name. That's not this isn't the name that I used in school. That's not what they. But put it this way: if your sisters ask them if they went to school with the Jewish brothers, there were 3 of us and we were Jewish in Catholic school. They'd remember that we were the only Jews
ask
in
them
St.
if they do
Rita's.
the world's most intimidating Jews.
And you lived in Ravenswood. Cool.
Yeah.
So you started doing comedy in New York?
Yeah. I started at a restaurant called Tony's Bar and Grill on 23rd Street or something like that. And I tell you, if it didn't go well, I would have never done it again. That one night, that was the heroin that was shot in my arm, and it was fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you prepare before you went on stage?
Years. I
You
kid you
did?
not, years. It was like 3 years before I got the nerve. I used to go to a place called Good Times.
Right?
It was like on 33rd Street or something like that. And they would
33rd
call you.
or third.
They would call your name. What's that?
33rd and 3rd, I think. Or 33rd and left.
23rd and 3rd.
It was, yeah.
It was, yeah. I used to go there and watch Otto and George and Dice.
Oh man.
And, it was. I didn't have the nerve to do it. It took me like 3 years to get the nerve to do it.
I don't blame you.
Good wholesome acts. Good wholesome acts to clean your.
Did you keep writing your act?
I kept writing it.
Wrote it
I had
and
a
you
day
never-
job.
Yeah.
I worked at Seagram's, and at nighttime I go over there and I'd get drunker and
Perfect job.
try and get the nerve to get up on stage.
One of your all-time favorite jokes of mine was when you used to do that joke. I went skydiving with a blind guy.
Yeah.
You've never heard a shepherd scream at 30,000 feet? Oh, it's something.
Well, we have that clip. Are we going to show that clip or?
Oh, we do have a clip of your stand-up. Yeah.
Yeah, show that quick clip. Yeah.
Okay. Here you go, John.
Started smoking again. They say if you smoke, it knocks off 10 years of your life. It's the last 10. So what do you miss? The drooling years? It's tough. One time I stopped smoking to use pot as a replacement. It was great. It's up to 600 joints a day. I was with this girl the other night. She said foreplay should take 90 minutes. I said 90 minutes? Does that include the drive over? My Thanksgiving dinner didn't take 90 minutes. You better have a buffet bar in your ass when I get there.
Oh, great.
Nobody told me how bad my hair was through that whole fucking thing.
They don't tell you, but it looks good, but they never tell you and they don't help you.
They don't help you. Not
go
at all.
out there with like a thing sticking out.
I want to say thank you to you because, being from the projects and everything, and I had heard that you were from, because I had seen you on TV and, I heard you were from and I was like, it actually made it possible for me to go and try. Because, when you grow up in the projects, you think I didn't even believe celebrities were real people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to know that you were from the same place as me made it possible for me to go out and do that stuff. And you were a legend to me anyway, in back in home. So.
Aww.
Isn't it cool that, you can come from such a shitty place and wind up, beating it,
Yeah.
It was, I joined the Army just to get the fuck out of Ravenswood.
Wow.
I was willing to die in Vietnam to have to live in the projects in Queens.
You probably knew all the guys that got shot in front of my building. There were like 4 guys that got shot, and they were probably peers and friends of yours, Dino and Marvin and all those guys.
Okay, so I'll tell you a story about that really quick. My brother, we lived at the end of the hallway. My brother left the hallway, walked all the way down the hallway. My mother yelled out, "Get the garbage." And he walked back to get the garbage to throw in the incinerator. So he walked back, got the garbage, came back, dropped it off. He was that far away when they blew everybody away.
Wow.
If he didn't come back to get the garbage, he would have been one of those dead bodies on that street.
Wow.
What
That's
happened?
incredible.
I don't know that story.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
it was some junkies that got ripped off, and they wanted their money back, and there was a bunch of guys on the corner. There was one guy specifically, and they wanted to kill him, so they killed everybody around him. And my brother would have been one of those guys that got knocked off that night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's just one of the shootings. I mean, there was, like I said, there was another one where it was over a girl, and they shot like 4 or 5 people. So that's where we grew up. That's where me and John grew up. So.
There was a girl in my neighborhood that got raped. She got off the bus on 21st Street there, and her father was sick. He had the flu. He didn't pick her up. So somebody got in the elevator, took her up to the roof and raped her.
Wow.
So he said, I'll give anyone like, $1,000 if they can find out who raped my daughter. A couple of days later, he got a knock on the door. He was told to go out to have dinner with him and his family. They went out to dinner, had family, and they threw the guy off the roof.
Oh,
Good for them.
Geez.
Good for them. Because there was a lot of street justice back then.
There was a lot of street justice, and so deservingly so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for paving the way out of that place for me.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could help. Yeah.
I guess the first time I met you, was at Eastside Comedy Club.
Yeah.
long time. They used to love you there at the East Side.
Yeah. Didn't your wife? Wasn't your wife at the time?
Yeah,
in the room?
my ex-wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
She says
That's how you got started. No.
She said the other day. She said, "I go, hey, we have John Mendoza on this week." She goes, "You think I'd make a lousy waiter?" He goes, "You think I'd make a waiter?" She remembered that joke. Look at me. You think I'd be right back?
Oh yeah.
The first time I went out there was with Stoller and John Mulrooney was the one that brought us out there.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Great room.
Yeah, it was a good room. It was really fun. It was really fun. Yeah, it was great. And then you and I did a special in Acapulco. And so we'll set up the story because a lot of people don't know. I guess it was it was A&E, right? I think it was A&E.
It was Fox. It was a Fox. Fox
it was Best of
on the Road.
Comedy on the Road. The Best of Comedy on the Road.
Yeah.
And so they invited, I guess there was 5 of us original, older guys compared to these other kids they put in there. And we got there. We assumed that we were all going to be on the same show. But it turned out that we weren't. We were 2 and 1 on the different shows. They divided us up. And we went out to lunch. And we went to Carlos and Charlie's. And this is the day of the show. And we started to have a few cocktails. And I remember this vividly, which I'm sure you won't remember. This one of the young kids came up to you and said, "Hey, John, can you give me some advice?" And I just remember you just looked at him totally deadpan, and you went, "Yes, the boom is over. Get a real job."
Oh, really?
And we just started from that point on. We just started dying, and then Kenny Rogers.
Remember how we started getting drunk though? We got drunk on the jet skis.
Oh yeah, I forgot we went jet skiing.
We were so drunk on the jet skis. We had bottles of Jack in the back of the jet skis and started drinking there.
I forgot about that part. But anyway, it just deteriorated to a stupid comic thing. And then the more we sat there, it was Drew Carey, it was Kenny Rogerson, Mike McDonald, and we were just sitting there. And
what a powerhouse!
I remember you said, "I bet you $5." Kenny went up to go to the bathroom. You go, in the next 10 minutes, he's going to tell us how he did Letterman. And he comes back and on cue, he goes to me, "I did Letterman." And you just started dying. And I remember I looked at him and I went, and you said it was really a long time ago. And I looked at him and I went, "Yeah, Kenny, and I really wanted to watch you, but my mother wouldn't let me stay up that late." And everyone started laughing. So as we got more and more intoxicated, we started to leave. We went downstairs. There was an Akkad show open. Somewhere along the line, I don't know who suggested it, that no matter how they introduce us, they should introduce us as a big enchilada.
Yes.
So we went down and we went to buy, and we looked in the window, and they had these really loud Hawaiian shirts. And we said, "All right, let's all buy the big enchilada wear."
It's funny when John told the story yesterday to us. It was his idea to call it the big enchilada.
No, I don't know. I said to it may have been.
I don't remember who it was.
I don't remember. We were hammered.
Hammered.
And then
about 3 or 4 people that wouldn't do it. Diane Nichols and a couple other people. They were so concerned about their career. We were just so drunk.
Right. And then finally, as we're paying for the shirts, I remember this was me. I go, "Look, they got matching shorts."
Yes.
So we all bought matching shorts. And then we went outside. We had a meeting. And I remember Drew Carey goes, "Footwear is optional."
Yes, we all wore different footwear so we could stand out. My favorite part of John Biner never saw us. And when the first, I think Kenny Rogerson was the first came out, and he saw that and he laughed and he thought it was very funny. And then I was the second act and he went, "Oh shit, you guys are really fucked up." But my favorite part about it was Kenny Rogerson was about 3/4 into the show. He went to one of the producers. I think it might have even been Messina. And he went to him. He said, "When do I go on?"
Right.
He'd already been on. That's how drunk we were. We didn't even know who was on and who was on after.
Wow.
So wait.
I want to see this.
Show the picture. Show the picture first of all. We have the picture.
Ming. Oh my God. Oh.
Look at Drew Carey showing his manly physique.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Wow.
So anyway, we The funniest part to me of this whole story, I still wear that outfit, believe it or not. It's
I have it.
Santa's. Watch this.
I have it.
You have it?
Yeah, I do have it.
Go,
Yeah.
show that picture, Greg.
Oh, wow.
It fits you better now than it did back then.
Yeah, it does.
When I had my sitcom, I needed to wear something really funny, and that's what I wore in the sitcom.
That's
Really?
so funny.
Yeah.
But this is the best part of the whole story, and I don't know if you got to remember this. We're leaving the next day. We're half hungover. We're in the elevator, you and I, and this little Mexican lady who was like 4'3" keeps looking at the thing. You and I were going to the airport, and she looks at you and goes, "Are you one of the big enchiladas?"
The big enchiladas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we got another check. Right? They cut us all into one show. And
I don't know if John got one. He doesn't look like he remembers that.
I don't.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was a long time ago, but we got a check, and they cut us all into one show called the Big Enchiladas in Mexico.
Nice.
And now you're the big bad broadcast.
Huh?
See?
Yeah.
You're on it.
That
Full
was one of
circle.
my favorite shows of all time to do. Blind freaking drunk. Don't remember much of it except for how fucked up we were. I remember I was so drunk at one point on the jet ski that I didn't see a cruise ship in front of me.
Wow.
That's
my
how
God.
drunk. And all of a sudden I went, oh, and I pulled out of the way of the cruise ship. Yeah.
Well, here's
And
a question.
now-
We're all stand-ups. I mean, how many times have you gone on stage drunk like that?
Oh my
Oh.
god.
I think it was the only time really that I ever really did.
I did Letterman one time. I was in a bar with this girl one time, and we were really stoned. We were like a 3-day binge, and she said and a commercial came on the TV, and it said, "And tonight, John Travolta, Mary Lou Hanna, John Mendoza." And I said, "Oh, that's cool. They're doing a rerun of me." And she said, "You filmed that 5 hours ago." I remember during after I finished doing the set, I forget who the producer was of the show, came over to me and said, "John, are you stoned?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Okay, you can't do the show for 6 more months." And David looked at me and said, "You want to do it next Tuesday?" And I did it again the following Tuesday. But I was so stoned, I had no recollection of doing the show at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times, man. I remember seeing videotapes like 2 days later. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He goes, "That was this weekend, dude." I'm like, what? When was that Boomers? I had no idea, man. It's like I remember that. Oh my god.
I went on stage once, just totally.
Testament to your success, then being wasted.
I did that one time, just wasted on stage, and I couldn't remember a damn thing. So I had to improv my way through 45, whatever it was, 50 minutes, and it was just terrible because I was just stoned and mean and drunk, and never again.
I remember once. Remember Bob Woods?
Oh yeah.
And Dave Hawthorne?
Huh?
So the three of us got this show at Brokerage Pub, and a friend of mine from Hawaii comes in, and for Christmas, and he gives me like a glove box with these buds in them that were like the whole edge of the box, and he goes, "Be really careful with this stuff, man. This is what pot growers smoke." So I gave each one of those guys a bud for Christmas, and we rolled these like little teeny thin joints. I rolled them like the way he showed me, like almost like a popsicle stick. So I give them to Woodsy and Hawthorne, and we smoked that, and they're like, "What is this thing? Come on, give me it." So they smoke like 2 more, and Woodsy's going to MC. So he gets up, and they go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Woods." He walks up on stage, and he goes, "I'm too high to do this." And he walks off. So I have to go up, and I go, "Hey, yeah, Bob's too stoned. He can't come up." And it was just a horror. I mean, the whole show is just a horror. And then
Did any of you ever work Fort Lauderdale, the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale?
Oh yeah, with Joe Mullins.
With Joe Mullen, yeah. Well, when they first opened it up, I think we only had about 5 or 7 minutes of material at that point because we were all just starting out and we had no idea what the hell was going on. And yeah, all 3 acts had to do 45 minutes. So you go down there, and what you would do is you'd smoke pot all day long and write jokes. That's all you did. You got high all day long, and then hopefully you would have enough material to do a show at the end of the night. So I don't think I every time I worked Fort Lauderdale, I was stoned out of my mind. I remember one time Tinkin Eddie Murphy's movie was coming out, and Tinkin was in the condo next door. And he says, "Come on over. We're going to go see Eddie's show tonight." And I walked in, and for a half hour, I had to watch Tinkin walk around naked because he was so stoned he couldn't find his clothes.
Oh my God.
Do you think it helped you to write your jokes the way that you have?
I do. Yeah,
you do?
I do. Yeah.
It just kind of let you just self-express and think of angles that you wouldn't think of if you were.
Some of my best material came high.
Yeah, I wanted to just say if someone wants to say something, but go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
I write good when I'm high. I just can't perform good when I'm high.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, I've never read it or heard it, but did anyone ever say that Mitch Hedberg got his influence from you, or by any chance?
From me?
Yeah. I just was, because when I watch your stuff, I said, "Oh wow, that sounds like him," but a little more, skewed.
Oh.
Yeah,
I like
so
Mitch. No.
Everyone's saying how because he was brilliant and left of center, and your stuff is like that. So
every time I think of Mitch Hedberg, I always think of that one joke that he did. He goes, "I always wanted a briefcase with a handcuff, and I got one." You think that joke needs more work?
One of my favorite jokes of a comic was Fred Stoller. One night, somebody heckled him, and they said, "What's the difference between you and your character?" He said, "My character likes to eat fish."
And your character is you, right? I mean, you are
pretty much.
You.
Yeah, there's no exaggeration. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. That's great.
You talk about those early days at the comic strip. Jeff Garlin and Brian Regan were the cooks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they were the cooks, and Joe Mullins would go, "When I leave here tonight, it's either steak or shrimp. There's no steak and shrimp. This isn't a combo restaurant." As soon as he walk out the door, they'd go, "You want some shrimp with that steak?"
Oh yeah. Yeah, Brian. I remember Brian was the doorman when I first started down there, and Garland was Garland.
Garland had no act at all back then, and we used to just laugh at him because he was so crazy.
Yeah.
He would just do a joke and then walk back and forth on the stage going, "It's comedy, hey," and kick his leg
that's right.
Doing nothing. And then
that's like Andy Kaufman just standing there and listening to Mighty Mouse and just doing nothing but
I have a son like that.
All right, your son does stand up now, huh?
My son does some weird shit. He did an entire show recently in a split.
Wow. Jeez.
I remember another time. This is just memories that I have of just like being on the road and stuff. I remember once we were, it was you, me, Minervini, I think Woodsy, and Lenny Schultz in a diner near the East Side.
Yeah, okay.
And Lenny goes, I got this idea. This is going to be it. I'm going to go crazy. He goes, I'm going to have 6 blenders in a circle with different colored jellies in the middle. Then I'm going to get the audience to go crazy. They'll be screaming, "Go crazy, Lenny." I'm going to hit the switch. I'll be naked. All the jelly will go all over my body, and they'll go crazy. And you just, with your deadpan, go, "Did you write that, Lenny?" And we died. I mean,
Am I mistaken, though? Wasn't Lenny a school teacher?
Yeah.
I was like Howard Beach.
Yeah.
The guy's like psychotic, and he's teaching kids.
One time they broke into his van out in front of the Improv on 44th Street, and he's calling the cops up to tell them people broke into my cab and in my car, and he's talking, and you can hear the cop on the other side. "So what was in your van?" He goes,
"Oh my God,
2,000 baby heads,
some pigs,
150 turtles," and then you saw the light go off in his head, and he went, "And $10,000. Oh God, he was brilliant.
He was so crazy, man.
That happened to me after a gig. We a bunch of us went to Chinatown. I parked my car, and a garbage truck came, and when it left, it shielded the car, and they stole all my. I was a prop comic back then, and they stole all my props. I go, what am I going to do? Tell look for a Michael Jackson doll and a a boom box. Forget it. It's gone.
That's when you become Senior Wincers and you just draw eyes on your hand. Hello, it's difficult for you. For me, it's easy.
You can't call that in. Yeah, there's a Roddy Piper doll too. No, okay, cool.
I remember one night I went to the East Side, and when I walked through the kitchen, Lenny Schultz was sitting in the sink taking a bath with the spray thing because he just finished doing a show, and he had jelly and maple syrup all over him. I was just like, oh, my God.
You fit in the sink?
You have those big slop sinks where they clean the pots and stuff?
Yeah.
He was sitting in there with spraying himself.
I used to love to work for Long Island. My favorite parts about Long Island was there was always someone on the show that was just odd. There was just always something that went wrong, or you drove back. I remember one time a black guy, I forget his name. He was really a great guy, and he drove back to New York one time, and he had no floorboard in the passenger side of the car. So I had to keep my feet up like that. It was the middle of like January, February. Cold air, like an hour back into the city. Oh God!
Gotta love those back east cars, but no, the salt and eating out the floorboards. I've had many cars like that. You could see the ground as you were driving.
Oh, well, I remember at the East Side Comedy Club when Richie called us all in for a meeting. All the people, because I lived near there, and all the people that were there. And the Long Island comics, and he said, listen, I just hired this guy, and, he's a dishwasher, but I just need to tell you that I think he's mentally challenged, and, I don't want you to make fun of him because he's a really good guy, and he's really nice, and we were going to introduce you to this. His name is Judd Apatow. And Judd was the dishwasher, and he walked around with a pad, and he wrote everything down. Down, like he was like the Rain Man, just writing everything down.
The mentally challenged dishwasher.
But Richie. So one day Richie said to him, I'll give you a ride home, and he was like, well, where do you live? And he goes, Port Jefferson, which is like 15 minutes away. And he goes, well, how do you get here? He goes, I take a cab. And he goes, how much does that cost? And he goes, $45 each way. And he goes, but you only make $30. And he goes, I know, but I just love being around the comics. And that's John? But that's why Richie thought he
made a movie about it, though. He made a movie about it. Have you ever seen the movie Funny People?
Yeah.
It's basically kind of like, something like that. But I mean, that was Judd Apatow. Because you remember Monty Hoffman.
Yeah.
And he had a small part in that movie. And this is when he was sick and he was at the VA. And so they called him to come in and watch a preview of the movie. So I picked him up at the VA, put him over there and whatever. And then to his credit, we showed up on the wrong day, and Judd Apatow let us in and let us watch the as they were editing and filming. I mean, it was pretty cool. But
that's pretty cool. Monty Hoffman is one of the few people that scared me.
He scared everyone, but he's
Bob Woods goes, he looked like a giant thumb.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
How did he scare you? What do you mean?
He just had those weird eyes that if you said something to him, you were afraid that he was going to snap at any freaking second.
You'd never want to turn your back on him.
No. Yeah.
He changed as he got older, when he got sick and he was dying. Like I said, I helped take care of him, and he was a changed person. But yeah, when he was younger, I mean, it's like you didn't want to turn your back on that guy.
Who was the other guy that you used to hang out with all the time? The other comic.
I'm not.
Messina. They used to hang out with Messina.
Well, I know they used to hang out a lot. Well, Messina, you're talking about
Monty Hoffman and the other, because I used to call it Monty Hoffman, and the other guy was whose act is it anyway? They had the same act. The two guys.
No.
Then who was playing?
Not Frank D'Amico, right?
What's up?
Not Frank D'Amico.
No. Frank D'Amico was like 6'8". I'm 500 and something. I remember the first time I saw Frank D'Amico, I looked at him and I said, geez, you would have come in two parts. I said, if you were 2 inches taller, they'd have to slap a fire escape on your back. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So John, go ahead.
I know he used to hang out with Hawthorne and those guys. Was it who was the other Lenny? Lenny Clark? Who's the Lenny?
Yeah,
that used to hang out at Messina's all the time.
Lenny.
That's hysterical, man.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, Lenny. Yeah,
Lenny.
I can't do it.
I don't remember his name.
It's too weird. That's all it said.
With Hawthorne and all those guys.
Yes.
Lenny, yeah.
We used to party at Messina's house every friggin' weekend.
What were you going to say, Jan?
I was going to say, well, we missed out on that because I don't think Messina let women come. It was just like all guys. So, and we, when I say women comics,
He was doing business, Jan. Okay?
I know. It's so no, what I was going to say is just not to change the subject, but to just to say that now, John, you're on the road with Howie Mandel all the time, right? So, I mean, you work steadily throughout your career.
Yeah.
Working, besides your own series and all the shows that you've been on TV and everything else. And
I've been very lucky. Very lucky. John, we were in the Villages last week. Do you live near the Villages in Cocoa Beach?
No, the Villages are on like mid-state, right?
Yeah,
Orlando. Near Orlando.
Orlando.
We talked about the Villages a couple of weeks ago. That's the highest rate of STDs in the entire state.
Yes. I went on stage. The first night I went on stage there a couple of years ago, I said that to them. I said, I hear you guys have the highest rate of STD, and they booed the shit out of me.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
I still got a half hour left to go, and they're booing me. And I went, oh, great. You're pissed at me because you redid the expression clap on, clap off.
The only reason it's so high is because their eyesight is so bad they can't get the condom on.
Well, yeah.
They keep missing.
They're actually very young. They're 55 years old. It starts at 55 down there.
Yeah, but as my friend says, an over 55 community is when it opens.
Yeah, true.
So,
I was there last week. It was pretty.
That's so
pretty
funny.
old.
I was supposed to be there last week myself. I was going down to Colin Quinn was down there, and a bunch of my buddies went. We all went to go hang out with Colin, but I couldn't make it.
Oh yeah, we were there last Friday night. We were in Tampa Thursday and Orlando on Wednesday last week at the Hard Rocks, which are great rooms.
Cool.
Hard Rock's a great room, right?
Yeah. When you get a couple of thousand people, it's just a lot of fun.
After you got booed, though, did you get them back or?
The clap on, clap off got them back, and
okay.
Yeah. So it was, but there was a moment where I went, oh shit, I got 29 minutes left to go here. I'm screwed.
Yeah, it's really great when you write a joke and you think this is gonna kill when I walk out,
Yeah.
and nothing happens, and you're going, what do? You're saying zippity doodah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So where are you from?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Chlamydia? Oh, hey.
Oh God, yeah. I did a over 55 community recently, and in the dressing room there was a sign on the wall that said, "This Thursday, the over 90 club."
I went down to do one of those old age home kind of things, and you audition, and they bring in all these people and stuff like that.
Right.
And so they had an intermission, but nobody left. I looked out into the room, and everyone was still there. And I said to somebody, how come they're not there? And they said, come here, I'll show you. And we went out into the lobby, and there had to be 200 walkers out there. It was just they couldn't leave the room because all their walkers were out in the hallway.
I've been play all over Florida because my mother lives in a community that's just like that. It's in Coconut Creek. It's called Winmore. And they have their own 3,000 seat. They
have nice theaters. A lot of them,
beautiful theater. But you're right. In the back, there's like 50, 60 walkers all lined up. I'm like, how do these people tell which one is theirs? It's like their car. They can't find their car. They can't find their walker.
I flew to New York, I guess 3 Thanksgivings ago to meet with my family, and when I got to Southwest, there had to be literally 50 wheelchairs getting on this flight. So I'm getting, my ticket, and the guy goes like this. The guy goes to me, watch this. He goes, you're going to see a healing. And he goes, I just want to make the announcement once again that anybody who gets on the plane in a wheelchair will have to get off the plane in a wheelchair, and 30 of them were cured.
Yeah.
He looks at me and goes, welcome to Lourdes.
Nice.
Yeah,
Welcome to Florida. Yeah. Strange place.
It's almost it's 3:30. We better get out for dinner.
It's really strange.
Well, the pandemic has done that to me, though.
Yeah.
You know, the bad thing about the pandemic is all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and you're going, I got to go to bed. There's nothing to do for the last 2 years. You're sitting around. I mean, how many times can you watch, you know, Ozark or some stupid shit like that? Next thing you know, it's like 5:30 and you're going, boy, it's late out.
You said you started getting up, walking, and taking walks and stuff.
I get up every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, morning.
He goes to bed at 6:30. He goes to bed at 6:30.
Yeah, I mean, I start my walk at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. I walk an hour and a half every freaking morning.
That's great.
Wow.
And you stopped eating meat too, right? You're vegetarian.
It's been 3 years without meat. Yeah. Yeah.
Geez, the only thing I like better than meat is if I get to pick the cow myself. Just kill that one. Just kill that like a lobster. I want that one. I'm going to take a bite right out of that one.
So you walk an hour and a half a day?
I walk an hour and a half in the morning and I walk another hour at nighttime. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't walked an hour and a half in the past 3 years combined. Holy
Well, you can't count walking to the refrigerator as part of it.
well, I don't walk at all.
Take your steps.
I had a stroke 5 years ago, and after I had the stroke, I figured it was either die. And the doctor actually told me. She said to me, you keep on what you're doing, you're gonna die. And about 3-4 months after that, sure as shit, I worked in Atlantic City, and we flew back from Atlantic City. And about a week later, I was on my way to a meeting, and I'm driving, and I couldn't see at all. And I started. And instead of making a left to go to this meeting, I made a right, and I drove to the VA, and I got to the VA, and as soon as I walked in the door, they started pumping me with all kinds of machines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was in the hospital for a week having a stroke. And after I left there, I went to a steak restaurant. I ate a big ass freaking steak, drank a bottle of wine, and ate every dessert they had on the menu, and that was it.
That was it.
Wow.
So what is it now? Like it's just the meat replacement stuff, like the Beyond, whatever they call that, and
Beyond
tofu
meat.
and what do you?
I had that once in a blue moon. It's basically just a plant-based diet. I once in a blue moon I'll have a slice of pizza or something like that. But basically, I was 270 pounds. And
that's my goal weight. I'm trying to get down to that.
Yeah,
that's not even a joke.
Yeah. And I'm now 195. I'm the lowest I got.
Congratulations!
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, it was either die or not. And I want to see my kids grow up, and So yeah.
Well, in the Hawaiian outfit that you were wearing, were you heavy then, or were you? Because I just remember you from New York. You were always real slim.
I wasn't pretty there. Whatever it was, I wasn't pretty.
Look at how tapered the shorts were. Put those back.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah, everyone's middle, except who's that second to the right? Everyone's middle is a little.
That was McDonald's over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah. We were. Those were fun days, boy. Oh boy.
So now you're clean bill of health. I mean, you get your cholesterol, your heart rate, all that stuff is good now, or you just stay on?
Yeah, everything's pretty good. I got to go and get my every 6 months. I go get another physical at the VA, and gives me at this point in the game, gives me something to do.
Yeah, right. Well, your one joke that I recently heard about, I always, if only you did what you told people you were going to do just to get off the phone, And I think every time I talk to you, you go, I got to go. I meet my son for lunch. It's like you're going to lunch or you got to go because you're meeting your ex, whatever. It's always like you're doing something every time. I'm like, John, just say, hey, I'll talk to you later. Don't tell me you got to go.
My favorite one was Mike. My favorite one was Mike Ivey. I was talking to him during the middle of the pandemic. It was about a year into the pandemic, and nothing was happening. The world was closed. Everything was shut down. There was nothing open and stuff like that. And I said to Mike, hey, Mike, I got to go. And he said to me, where the fuck are you going to go?
The toilet.
Pretty much. That was it. I was like, oh, shit.
We should all get honest and just go, hey, listen, I'm really tired of talking to you. It's
Yeah,
time. You know what I mean? It's like, instead of just saying, because you're right, there is nowhere to go. Just like, I'm just fucking bored of talking to you now. Bye.
Yeah. But the good thing is I didn't answer the phone for the next year.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, we could do this like all day, but we're already at our time.
Yeah, we're about to hit that hour mark.
And
really?
thank you so much, John, for coming on. It was a pleasure to see you. Pleasure to catch John.
Wait, is there anything else you wanted to say that we missed? Or
any upcoming shows?
No, nothing. No.
Any career?
Going to the VA on Tuesday.
All right.
You can catch John Mendoza at the VA on.
They could help him with his hip and his.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me.
Hey, anytime you want, John, anytime you're bored, you want to come back, let us know. We'd love to have you on.
Absolutely.
Okay, great seeing your faces. John.
All right.
Thank you, John.
All right. One more time. Let's give John Mendoza a big round of applause. Thanks again, John. Wow, that was fun.
That was great. That was
really fun. Really,
all those
really
walk down memory lanes you guys had. That was
I know. It's so funny. I'm so glad he remembered that special. How could we not?
Yeah.
I don't even remember going. I don't even remember going jet skiing.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like I missed out on a lot of good stuff. I wish I could have worn one of those Hawaiian.
Well, like I said, I'll always be grateful for him paving the way out of those projects, because it was important to see that you can, to see other examples. And I'll always be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will be back here next week. Once again, next Friday. You can see us on Facebook on the Big Bad Broadcast. And you can catch us all the back shows. And you can listen to us on the podcast. Just go to www.thebbbradio.com. And if you want to watch us or listen to us, it's all there. We're here every week. And, hey, thanks for watching us. Thanks for tuning in. And we got another great show for you next week.
I'm Jen Carum.
I'm Mike Green.
I'm Craig Mitchell.
Peace out. Tarantino.
And we're the Big Bad
Broadcast.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Ha 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 ha!